Hi, I'm Byron Conn, and I'm from New Jersey. I'm currently a junior in the Woodworking and Furniture Design program. So my work is pretty complicated, not necessarily from a visual standpoint, but more the conceptual background and all the processes I go through. And it all starts off in my childhood for the most part, whether it's being at the beach a lot, growing up surfing with my uncle, or just playing games with my family. Family's really had a big part, and my background in math and science has really played influence in that, whether it's having complicated geometry or using curves in different ways and just really creating a three-dimensional object. My artistic influences are less individual people and more nature itself. Like I said, I spent a lot of time on the beach growing up over the summers, and just staring at the waves roll in and being out there on the waves, it's really played a pretty interesting role of how I approach design and use those things. And there's so many things out in nature that people try to replicate or kind of go for a similar aesthetic, but all you have to do is really look at certain things in nature and just draw from that. There's really endless design in nature that's really just on note. But as far as the people that influence me, obviously my professors here, Rich Tannen and Andy Buck, really influence my work pretty directly. And they're great. They really do a lot of great work. Richard Newman also, who's a local here, he taught us for 1 quarter, and there's no better craftsmanship. The creative process personally all comes from inspiration. It's very personal to what I'm going through, and my best work is always when I'm happy and feels like when I'm always by the beach, or just somewhere nice. But at the end of the day, it's really almost a state of mind of what gets that initial starting point. And then once I have that idea, it's making all those fine adjustments and pulling it into this technical side, which is the side I like more. That's what I feel my proficiency is more the technical making aspects. And wood's such a variable material. There's so many things that can change and go wrong, and it doesn't always do what you want. So knowing how to handle that, and sometimes the actual processes of making the piece are far more interesting and I think visually appealing than the final piece can be. So it's working all of that into the final project. I'm not sure there's one piece that really captures who I am as an artist or best represents me. I think the piece I've touched upon, the reliquary, is the closest. All the pieces I've done are different phases of things I've explored or ideas I've had. Our first project was a hand joinery table where we couldn't use any power tools, and that I think set the standard for me as far as how I wanted that to play into my work. So that definitely represents me well, and that was something I carried into the reliquary, making sure that it was really clear that it was made by hand and everything was thought through and carefully considered. So the reliquary, I think, is a good one. Also, the last project I did, a dining chair, using dovetails to join the seat and back and shaping the surfaces by hand. Those are things I'm really interested in. A new project I've worked on that's given me quite a challenge was when I studied abroad last summer in Croatia. I focused on, the project was city as a site, so it was really open, but Dubrovnik in Croatia was really it was the first time I was in Europe, and I was culture shocked in a good way. I was really taken aback by how much culture there was and how the relationships people had was so much different than here and what I was used to. So taking my viewpoint and taking their viewpoint, I was able to really relate the two and try to put that in what I came up with as a room divider. And also, I'm going to ICFF, International Contemporary Furniture Fair in New York City, and it's a little overwhelming for me for where I'm at now. Being a student, it's really a lot to take in and be prepared for while I'm still doing other classes and trying to squeeze in my last project, but I think it'll be a great opportunity, and it's really gonna open my eyes to what's really out there and what it can be. I can't really give that much advice to aspiring artists because I am one. So with that being said, I think it's really important, and I've noticed this personally, that it's really important to be open and open-minded in particular about the experiences you have, the things you do, where you are. You know, no matter where you are or what you're doing, there's always a lot you can learn from it, and you're never going to stop learning. So it's really just having an open mind and being willing to put yourself in a little bit out of the comfort zone to know where you're going to head.